there'll be more than three. Family, 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 family.
Every voice is a stone, many voices a wall that encompasses all within a common space, a holy place. Every voice is a stone, many voices a wall that encompasses all within a common space, a holy place. Every voice is a stone, many voices a wall that encompasses all within a common space, a holy place. Every voice is a stone, many voices a wall that encompasses all within a common space, a holy place, a holy place. Every voice is a stone, every voice is a stone, many voices a wall that encompasses all within a common space, a holy place.
Good morning, my beloved. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. It is Sunday, December 26th of 2025, and you are all welcome here. I am Reverend Dr. Kadar Walker. I use the she, her pronouns, and I'm honored to serve as the minister of this beloved community. For those with visual disability, I'm a middle-aged, light-skinned female. My hair is mid-length, light brown. I wear glasses. Today I have on a wine-colored, red-ish stole over a black dress with multi-colored ribbons kind of running through it. My beloved, you are all welcome here into this beloved community. If you are watching now on YouTube or in the future, we are so glad that you are with us this morning. We are a multi-faith religious community where all are welcome, whomever you love, wherever you travels and burdens you carry, we welcome you and invite you to lay them down and be with us here this morning. We are a community that is constantly seeking questions, playing with our answers. Diversity is celebrated, and we are so glad you have chosen to be with us this morning or in the future. We are all growing together. We are loved together, and you are welcome just as you are. If this is your very first time with us in person, we are so grateful you chose to sit in one of our pews. We do have a social hour following this service. You're welcome to come join with us. We also are having an introduction to Unitarian Universalism session. It'll be about 10 or 15 minutes after the start of the service. And you're welcome to make your way down into the garden lobby and into the Schweitzer room where you can join myself and a few others as we. And if you're interested in, you've been coming for a while and you're interested in membership with our community, please come to the intro class and we'll talk about what steps there are to becoming a member. And if you are online, I invite you to check out our website, and down at the bottom you'll see you can sign up for our MailChimp weekly newsletter. Just opt in and start to find out all the wonderful opportunities you have to become part of this community. This morning, I want to do a special welcome to David Mahler and Julie. Thank you, David and Julie, for being with us and providing your beautiful gifts of music. And I know you've been here before, but it's been a fair number of years. So I'm going to call it was pre-K, that is before pre-Kate. Yeah, before me. So I'm glad to meet you and have you here. Also, after the service, I'm really excited that we have an opportunity for multi-generational mindfulness meditation. My beloved, in this day and age, finding ways to be grounded in our body and our spirit and our hearts and minds is so important. So this is a multi-generational mindfulness meditation. It's at 12 p.m. in the Foz room, which is right down the hallway. And I encourage you to please join in that. Also this afternoon for young adults from 12 to 1, anybody roughly in the ages of 18 to 35, we invite you to come together in the Harper room, which is downstairs, with Erica Shadowsong, who will be your staff person today. And I want to also really promote an event that's coming up, and this is actually a new date. It's going to be Sunday, February 9th, the second Sunday in February. This is a reimagining from an extractive age to the new era. This is part of our environmental justice program, reimagining from an extractive age to a new era, Sunday, February 9th from 12 to 1:30. A light lunch will be served. And it's been 3 years since this community made a deeper commitment to working on environmental and climate justice issues. So it's a good time to step back, given our current circumstances in this country. How do we want to use our time and our resources? How do we want to focus all that we care about, and how do we want to step forward as this community and in partnership with other organizations. So please join me and Bob Mitchell and other leaders of our environmental justice team. Again, that's Sunday, February 9th with a light lunch. I invite you to take a deep breath and arrive in body and spirit as we turn now to our chalice lighting. By this chalice lighting, we find ourselves connected to Unitarian Universalist churches across this city and around this country and throughout the world that are now engaging in this very ritual of lighting the symbol of our faith. 2 circles of Unitarian and Universalism in a flame. Today we explore what it is to be a community where we focus on racism, where we focus on the systemic impact as we explore the theme of the month, intersectionality, and we look at that one thread in a complicated weaving of being a counter-oppressive community. I welcome to you all. I invite you to stand as you're able in body and spirit for 10:18. Come and go with me. And again, I remind you, this is an African-American spiritual. This is from the slavery period, and it comes with that story in its words. Please have a seat. And in a moment, Alice Carnes, our liturgist today, is going to lead us in a collective reading. And I'm going to remind those who have been here before and introduce this for some of our new people, is that Unitarian Universalism made a shift over the last 3 years from reciting and embodying certain principles. And we are retiring those principles into what we are collectively calling new values. So for the next 6 months, between now and the beginning of June, we are rotating the value statement, which is today, our principles, and our commitment to care for the earth in a 3-week rotation. So this is the second time we will be reciting our new values covenant. And so please let that hopefully get into your heart and your toes.
Good morning. I am Alice Carnes, and for those with visual disabilities, I'm a light-skinned woman in my early 70s with graying white hair and a chin-length style. I wear glasses with red plastic frames. I always wear a sunburst pendant with a moonstone in the center. And today, I guess this is magenta over black. And I do have a little sheep, black sheep. I ask you to join with me in this collective reading. It's in your order of service. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We covenant to practice interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence, to practice pluralism, to celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. To practice justice, we work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. To practice transformation, we adapt to the changing world. We practice generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. To practice equity, we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. May it be so. I would like to invite Erica's Shadow Song.
Good morning again. I'm your Lifespan Religious Education Director, Erica Shadowsong. I have brown skin, short cropped hair, and I'm wearing khaki colored pants and a patterned shirt for those of you with visual challenges. I would love to invite the children up today. How many of you know Sesame Street? Do you guys like Sesame Street? I grew up with Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street. We're going to read a Sesame Street book called We Are Different, We're the Same. So come right on up if you want to see the pictures. How's it going, Ray? How's it going, Rory? Rory, right? What's your name? Joy. Okay, we ready? Here we go. Oh, we got some more coming up. Let's wait. Hey. All right, the kids are taking over the church today. Woohoo. Yeah. Okay. We're different. Our noses are different. Can you point to your nose? Look at someone else's nose. Is it different? We're the same. Our noses are the same. They breathe and sniff and sneeze and whiff. Yeah. You guys ever have the sniffles?
Not
Not
really.
really?
I have.
You have? I have the sniffles.
I
You still
still have.
have them? Our hair is different. Take a look at our hair. Our hair is different, right?
I can't look at my hair.
Here's some different. Yeah, you can't look at your hair.
But I can look at my hair. My hair is so long I can touch it and brush it.
You can kind of look at it. But guess what, guys? Our hair is the same. It grows on us in several places. It warms our heads and frames our faces. Look at these people with all their different hair. Do you see that spiked hair there?
Elmo's hair.
Elmo's hair. Elmo is covered with hair.
Looks
like he's just walking, looking cool.
Yeah. Our mouths are different. Look at your mouth. Ha ha. Look around. Our mouths are different. See these different mouths? Cookie Monster has a cookie near his mouth. It's very appropriate.
braces.
And somebody has braces, yes.
Look, and someone.
And you have braces. Our mouths are also the same. Their lips form the words we say and smile when it's a happy day. So our mouths are also the same.
Yeah, everything's the same.
Everything's the same.
We're extremely different.
Our skin is different. You can look at your skin. Look around. We're all different.
Mine's the lightest color in the world.
Yeah. And then there's some, of course, Sesame Street people have, a lot of them have fur. So we can't see their skin. Colored fur, right? But our skin is the same. How is our skin the same? It tells us something's hot or cold or hot, or wet or dry. It knows a lot. Muscles and bones are wrapped inside it. We all have blood and skin to hide it. It keeps us warmth. It keeps in warmth and keeps out dirt. And it warns us so we don't get hurt. All these people on the beach.
So are people.
Yeah, so many. Our eyes are different. Look at your eyes. Our eyes are different. Ow. Look at these eyes. Is that the grouch? Because those are some angry eyes. Well, don't hurt yourselves. But guess what? Our eyes are the same. Do you see with your eyes? They see. Do they blink? Can you blink? They blink. You can't blink. They weep and they wink. Can people wink? Can anybody here wink? Okay.
I can win. Staring contest.
Staring contest. Oh no, I failed those. Our bodies are different, especially if you're Snuffleupagus or Big Bird.
Let me see.
All different bodies. Cookie Monster. But even though all these bodies are different, look at all these different bodies. Our bodies are the same. They stretch and bend and work and play. They all need food and rest every day. They dance and wriggle and ride a bike. They might look different, but they're alike. Just a big crowd of people.
They also swim.
And swim. Our feelings are different. We probably all have slightly different feelings right now because we're all different people. You're happy? You're happy?
I'm feeling tired.
You're feeling tired?
I'm happy.
I'm feeling silly
What? Still. I'm tired.
because you guys are here and it lets me be silly.
I'm feeling confused.
You're feeling confused.
Why are you still feeling silly? Is that even no emotion? I'm silly.
Is it an emotion? I don't know. Our feelings are the same. Lonely, worried, scared, excited, happy, loving, glad, delighted.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Let me can I play one of those games?
What games? Oh, in here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you? We're the same. We're different. That's what makes the world such fun. Many kinds of people, not just one. A rainbow would be boring if it were only green or blue. What makes a rainbow beautiful is that it has every hue. So aren't you glad that you look like you? Are you glad you look like you?
Yeah.
Are you glad you look like you? Be glad you look like you.
Your hand.
Raise your hand if you're glad you look like you. All right. Could be better. I think a lot of us feel that way. We're wonderful, guys. We're wonderful. Look at that rainbow. We're wonderful. We're wonderful. All right. Thank you very much. We're going to head to our classes. Let's go.
We're wonderful.
Yeah, we are.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you we live.
Good morning, everybody. In your order of service, you will notice that it says Mary Dennison on EECM. So, for this morning, I am Mary Dennison. Mary, actually, the real Mary Dennison is actually with us here today. I'm here to talk to you this morning about this tremendous opportunity and this tremendous tradition we have in the church. Yes, yes. Thank you, Kate. About the East End Cooperative Ministry in our Sunday dinner. Our Sunday dinner that we do. My name is Sam Hens-Greco. I am the coordinator for that program. Mary handed it over to me a couple of years ago, but she's still intimately involved, and she volunteered me to participate this morning and talk with you a little bit about it. So what we do is the first Sunday of every month, our church sponsors the dinner, prepares the dinner for the members and the residents who are at the East End Cooperative Ministry building in the East Liberty. We prepare a dinner for about 50 to 60 people. We have a team that gets together. We have someone who is the coordinator for that month, and then folks who will participate and prepare parts of that meal. So the first thing I would like to do is I'd like to recognize all of those folks who have been helping in the past. I know that Tony Rutigliano and Karen Burns are here. Jim Wrights is here. I saw Mary Studer. So instead of me trying to pick out everybody, if you have participated in preparing the meal or a part of that, please stand up so we can recognize you. So my goal for today, my task for today, is to invite more folks, to invite you to participate with us. We have, as I said, we have a Google Sheet that we share, and you can go on and you can put your name in there on the sheet, and Mary and I will be downstairs after the service if you want to talk to us and get that link. This year, we already have, I think, most of the first 6 months filled up. I think May is the only one. And really proud to say that our Board of Trustees also participates with this. And this month, our board is preparing the meal for the residents for I think the next week, the 3rd of February, 2nd of February. So if you're interested, we would love to have your participation. We'd love to grow this. It's a very sort of quiet sort of, thing that we do, but I can tell you the residents they appreciate it. A lot of us prepare the meals downstairs as a group. We take it over at 5:30, where we can serve it, or if we're not able to serve it, the residents there will serve, and also eat. We also participate in the meal with the residents, and it's a slice of time and a commitment that is, I think, appreciated both by the folks who are receiving and the folks who are giving. So if you'd like to participate with that, please let us know afterwards. The other is if you're not able to do that or don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, we also will take contributions. A lot of folks pay for the food that we prepare. Some folks aren't able to do that, and the church will reimburse folks for purchasing of food. So if that's something that you would like to do, please also consider that. So on behalf of Mary Dennison, myself, thank you for listening, and thank you for being here this morning, participating. And if any questions, please grab one of us downstairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Our religious community is comprised of volunteers and staff who create and host a wide variety of programming, as we just heard. We rely on your financial contributions of all church members to keep these ministries thriving. Our share of the plate for this month is the nonprofit Breaking the Chains of Poverty. Donation by check may be mailed to the church office or text GIVE to 412-435-1050 and follow the directions. Please see the order of service for more specifics about how to give. The offering will now be gratefully received to support the work, the wonder, and the witness of our beloved religious community.
How good it is when pleasure comes, when people live as one, when peace and justice light the way. The will of God is done. The will of God is done. True friendship then, like fragrant oil, surrounds us with delight, surrounds and blessings shine like morning dew upon the mountain height, upon the mountain height. How good it is when walls of fear come tumbling to the ground, when arms are changed to farming tools, the fruits of life abound, the fruits of life abound. What quiet joy can bloom and grow when people work for peace, when hands and voices join as one, that hate and war may cease, that hate and war may cease.
I know there are a lot of sorrows and concerns and anxiety and outright anger and pain in our hearts this week. A lot has been going on. I know some of you have started to limit your news exposure to protect mental health. This is wise. But I do encourage you to expose yourself in ways that recognize that sometimes to limit our exposure is a privilege, that not everybody can because their lives are at stake. And it's so important to be aware of those who have less privilege and are at more risk and are whose lives and their livelihood in their homes and children are at risk. You can help counterbalance that with the joy, music, art, hugs, breathing, walks in the woods. For all of those joys and the sorrows and anxieties in our hearts, please remind yourself, as I do to myself constantly, we do not journey alone. We are with one another. We are a phone call, a chat, a moment, a smile away from one another. I invite you now into a time of meditation, personal prayer, and silence. Spirit of life and love, soothe our fears and anxieties. Ease your way into our deep wounds. Help heal the tender places. Spirit of love, give us the space to embolden ourselves, to get up each morning, to face another day in a world that feels like it's on fire. Spirit of faith, remind us of that which we hold as most valuable, the sacredness and the holiness of life itself, and all that binds us to one another. May that holy being, that God of many names that has been with us throughout the ages, the one we call out from our dark places with pleas of mercy, the one we celebrate with when love is expanded, that holy place when we connect with another living being, with love, with joy, with affirmation. We are celebrating something precious. Spirit of justice, hold us to our commitment to creating a better world where all are collectively liberated, free of oppression, bound together in the holiness and the beauty of life. Blessed be, and amen. I invite you to stay seated as we sing 1023, Building Bridges, in our teal hymnal.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
An American Flag Upon My Tasbih by Reverend Mitra Javazid. It is a custom, a superstition, decoration to hang prayer beads from the rearview mirror. Not broken bodies of long ago prophets, not agony in the name of God, not sculpted, miniaturized terror, just beads. Mine are brown like coffee beans, smooth for running through fingers, hung for decor. They tell those who would decode something Middle Eastern, not for faith, for culture. So it is no sacrilege that the smooth brown beads break their rhythm for a cold metal rectangle of red, white, and blue. An announcement drives this car. When I called, I said, "Don't wear black today. It makes you look too ethnic. Put away your turtlenecks. Choose the pink Izod." He said, "I told your sister the same, and stay away from airports. Drive if you have to be somewhere. You," he said, "are white enough. You don't have to worry." And then he said, "But do you have your American flag on your TASB?"
It's been an interesting week, my friends. An interesting week. Hard for many. I have friends in the Washington, D.C. area and colleagues who are watching each other, wondering who will still have a job on Monday. There have been moments of joy as well. I don't know if you were able to go to the concert on last Monday night with Lift Every Voice. Oh my gosh, that was a moment of joy and celebration. This is the journey we carry right now. Those moments of life-threatening fear and joy. Months ago, I chose this topic of looking at racism today, particularly about critical race theory and how it has helped us eradicate systemic racism. It fits with the theme of the month of intersectionality, as will become clear in a few moments. CRT, as critical race theory is known, has gained a lot of popularity as a political flame-throwing device. Those seeking conservative media attention and those bonus points on social media's relentless algorithm. It's seen as a threat by some who are defending white supremacy. CRT provides a powerful, powerful shift in a landscape of racism and counter-oppression, and it has become dangerous for some. So here's some background on CRT and critical race theory, so we're on the same page here. My story begins with Derek Bell. How many of you are familiar with Derek Bell? Oh, excellent, not enough. Excellent. Derek Bell, African-American, born right here in Pittsburgh, 1930s in the Hill District. He was born to Ada Elizabeth Childress Bell, a homemaker, and Derek A. Bell, Sr. He was a mill worker and a department store porter. And those parents instilled in him a serious work ethic and the drive to confront authority, two lifelong values that will help change this country. He attended Duquesne University, his parents insisting that he get an education. He served 2 years in the ROTC and the Air Force and then returned to attend the Pitt Law School, graduating in 1957 as the only Black graduate. he landed a job with the Department of Justice in the Civil Rights Division. And after a couple years, though, they discovered that he was a member of the NAACP. His membership cost him $1. And they told him that he had to quit that membership because it was a conflict of interest. And this is where his principles of work and clarity of his principles come into view. Because when he declined to quit the NAACP, his bosses moved his desk into the hallway of their office and then reduced his docket of cases that he had been assigned. Rather than quit the NAACP, he quit the Department of Justice, and not surprisingly, came back to Pittsburgh to work for the NAACP, where he got to meet Thurgood Marshall, the very own, who then quickly snatched him up in 1960 to work as a staff attorney at the Legal Defense Fund, which was formerly an arm of the NAACP. Bell then oversaw desegregation for over hundreds of lawsuits leading up and out of the Brown versus Board of Education, massive decision in the early 50s. And in that work on desegregation, he got a phone call one day from a woman named Winston Hudson. She lived in Harmony, Mississippi. Now, Winston Hudson was a member of the local NAACP, and she reached out and got the ear of Bell because she was interested and needed help in her town of reopening their black school. She didn't want help with desegregation. She wanted to bring back their dedicated black school for their black children. See, the town of Harmony, Mississippi, was formerly established by enslaved black people who bought the land from former slaveholders after the Civil War. And the school was an important part of their community and had been for generations. But due to lack of resources, not surprising, from the state and the county and the township, the building had become deteriorated and was no longer safe. So it was closed by the school board. Bell, having heard this story, was surprised, though, by Hudson's request to help reopen a black school while he was dedicated to desegregation and getting black and white children together in the same buildings. He wanted to integrate them, not keep them separated. Bell then convinced Hudson to change her plans. And instead, she became committed to desegregating the town schools and used Hudson's niece as the plaintiff in the next court case that they then won. But years later, the two of them met at an event and they looked at each other and wondered if they had made the wrong decision. Bell, after years of working on desegregation, shifted his career to academia, and eventually he landed a prestigious position at Harvard Law School. And over time, he recognized that there were important, crucial patterns in the landmark civil rights cases that he had helped himself on and was now teaching about. What he recognized is that racism is so deeply rooted in America's institutions that from its foundation, that racism is able to reassert itself every successive wave of reform aimed at eliminating it. That's why last week when we heard from Reverend Dr. Asa Lee, and he said he was not surprised that there was a pushback after the election of Barack Obama. Bell's insights provided the foundation for what became known in the 1980s as critical race theory. CRT came about in part because Bell left Harvard, went for another position. However, in his absence, the law school did not teach one of his most critical and most popular classes, race, racism, and the American law. That forced the students and some progressive professors to start organizing themselves around issues of race, racism, and the American law. And one of those people was a student named Kimberly Crenshaw. You may have read about her. I've talked about her in my pastoral care messages about intersectionality. Through a series of defining moments over the late 80s, there was the gathered progressive professors and students started coming together in conferences and arguing about the critical legal studies that were going on around racism in the legal system. And this was a multiracial group, and they dug into this contentious issues, realizing that the law was not neutral, as the idealists had always been proclaiming, that all are equal who come before the law in the judicial system, but rather it was operating under reinforced hierarchies. By the late 80s, CRT was crafted, it was born from this multiracial group, and Crenshaw was among them. In 1989, Crenshaw launched her central argument about the role of intersectionality as a persistent and pervasive oppression that is embedded within all U.S. systems: judicial, schools, medical, religions, housing, banking, and government. And that intersectionality is the recognition that we all have these beautiful diversity of identities. They're not separate tracks, but interwoven, influencing and tugging and joyfully celebrating, and sometimes in conflict with one another. As you heard from that beautiful book from Sesame Street, the idea that we are both the same and different has a deep truism throughout humanity's existence. Crenshaw's ideas are now being recognized as a long-standing blind spot, which we could not have seen without all that had happened that led up to it, the civil rights movement and the work of Derek Bell. Bell challenged the concepts of racism as being on an individual level of bias, that it's individual events and people that are not interacting with one another and influencing one another. It was huge what Bell was trying to do. He challenged his own colleagues who sometimes critiqued him and a few ostracized him. He wanted to expand them out of their particular niches and expand and step back and look at the broader horizons, and wanted to see that this country from the very foundation was not built as a freedom for all. Former President Barack Obama, when he was 28-year-old Harvard Law School, introduced Bell at a rally in 1990, saying that Bell's scholarship has opened up new vistas and new horizons and changed the standards of what legal writing is about. An important side note about what that rally was about, that Barack Obama introduced Bell, gives an indication again into Bell's character. The rally was there to support Bell himself, who had taken an unpaid leave of absence from Harvard to protest Harvard law never granting tenure to a Black woman, despite their promises. Just like he quit the DOJ based on his principles, he realized he could not encourage his students to make decisions, important life decisions on their principles, unless he was willing to follow through on his own. And he made it clear he was willing to do that even though he could not afford to go without his salary and support his wife and children. So they had a rally and a fundraiser and let him know what was going on. NYU Law School gave him a visiting professor position. He never returned to Harvard. Harvard did, in 1998, finally grant tenure to the first woman of color, Lani Guinier, who has her own large docket of wonderful academia. So Bell remained at NYU for the rest of his career, declining offers for tenure. He then, this is really fun, twist, turned to fiction writing, even science fiction, fantasy writing, to try and get across his messages about institutional racism. and another way to get a different audience that he could read his material and understand his important precepts. And he modeled one of his characters off of Kimberly Crenshaw. And it was because of that, instead of academic or law-type writing, he was able to reach a whole new level of audiences, helping encourage minds to turn away from the minutia of the work they were doing and to shift back into the vistas of how racism has gripped our country. Over the many years, Bell recognized that racial progress occurs almost always when it is in alignment with white interests. I'm going to say that again. Bell recognized that racial progress almost always only happens when it is in alignment with white interests. If you walk away today from anything today, that's it. Our country was built for white, male, land-grabbing citizens. We became a United States shining light on the hill, ordained by God, manifest destiny, built upon classism, racism, sexism, all tools in the interests of the white manifest destiny. Imani Perry, a legal scholar, professor of African American studies at Princeton and a great author, said that Bell was audacious in his critique of what he had worked for. He's surrounded by friends and respected colleagues, and he questioned how the whole civil rights movement was structured to win small case by case with no understanding that pragmatically was it making the progress it needed to make to address the larger systemic issues. He was criticized, and he was right. With each win, he said, with each revolution from emancipation to Reconstruction to civil rights, it was followed by a counterbalance in order to course correct for the capitalist interests. Each progress inevitably met by a reversal. The system was working exactly as it was designed to do. On January 20th of 2025, it marked the day that a U.S. president swore an oath to protect this country surrounded by billionaires. Breathe. Breathe. Derek Bell died in 2011. He got to witness Obama's election, but he knew that a backlash was inevitable. He did not see the election in 2016 and certainly not 2024, but he would not have been surprised. He knew that with each great height of a case won, of an election won, of movement forward for freedom for all, and that paradoxical light shining on progress, that there would be a backlash, and that we have a long way for everyone to get there. This has been a hard week, my friends, a hard week, and there have been moments of joy. We have to see that vista of the long journey that Derek Bell was asking us to see. We don't have to save the whole country, my beloved, you and I know we want to. We don't have to save the whole country, not even the whole city. But we do need to focus what's on most valuable and most at risk, those crying for help from those hidden places. Beloved, our Unitarian Universalist theology tells us what to do. It's our touchstone of hope. Unitarians, it reminds us that there is a oneness that unites us all, that we are united that bonds us together, an interwoven fabric of diversity. And as universalists, a belief, a profound belief, and all are worthy, all are sacred and worthy of salvation. I look at Derek Bell and others who have resisted the forces of tyranny, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Barack and Michelle Obama. There is a long list. I could stand here all day and give powerful litany to all the people that have stood up with courage to keep our eyes on that vision of what it is to be collective liberation of courageous people. I invite you this week, your task, create your own list of those who have inspired you. Print them out, paint them, type them out, print them out, post them. Put them with their names and their stories. And if you know the names and you don't know the stories, go find the stories. Know who Derek Bell is, and he's from our own Hill District. Know who these people are. They are our hope-filled, beautiful people. And this past week, I added another name to my list. The Right Reverend Marian Edgar Buddy. Whew. I encourage you to reach out to your Episcopalian friends and give them a hug. She spoke a truth to power in her sacred space. I hope you understand. Derek Bell was not a pessimist. He was a realist. And we need realists. He was not trying to undermine all the achievements of the race revolutions, including the one he fully participated in with the civil rights movements. He saw progress, but just not in the same way as his peers. Today, if we see the world the same way that Bell did, and we keep our eye on that horizon even today, we can see that land of freedom. Keep in mind, CRT is now accepted and embedded within higher education, the legal systems, our churches, our Black community. And it happened in part, this is the best thing, it happened in part because it was targeted to become a toxic meme because people hated the wokeness that was coming with it. We got a lot of free publicity on that important awareness. It provided headlines and those crazy algorithm support. Now everybody is beginning to, understands critical race theory is in our systems. Terms like identity politics, right? Identity politics is no longer considered as a cesspool of cultural insanity, as an insult. It's now being completely embraced and eagerly used by all parties. And it is, for better or for worse, a powerful motivator for how people vote, even if it's not actually a vote that supports what they want to support. It creates, those identity politics can create a disconnect. And it helps us to be in conversation with our neighbors to unpack that and understand. It is a form, though, of cultural theft. And it's in the best interest of the dominant majority. So, my friends, a few minutes ago, we heard these beautiful words that Alice shared from the Reverend Mitra Javar Sedada. She marks a time in our country that was post 9/11 when our one's cultural identifiers, in this case a Muslim tasbih, a tasbih refers to a prayer or a repeated glorification of Allah, that one could get arrested, one could get deported or killed for publicly showing their cultural identity. This was back in 9/11, and my friends, we're in that time today. We lament that our people are threatened again today, and that means we are needed. We are needed. You and I are needed with our power, with our privilege, with our commitment, and our clarity about a fierce love that knows no bounds, that we can do this and we're not alone, that in our faith together we have a fierce, animating, powerful love that compels us to a deep loyalty to one another and our universal expansiveness. Here is my charge. We are called to take care of our bodies and our minds and our hearts, always. We are called to fiercely love one another, find our sources of inspiration constantly, cultivate our courage, commitment to clear steps of actions in the name of salvation for all, and sustain our resistance and our resiliency. Because, my beloved, it's a long journey. We will not see that land, but our children or our children's children may see it. That is our commitment. And in this community, that's more than enough. May it be so. May it be so, blessed be, and amen. I invite you to stand as you're able in body and spirit. 10:30. Sehayamba. This is a South African hymn. We are not singing it in Zulu today, in case you were worried. Someday we might, not today.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching. Ooh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching. Ooh, we are marching in the light of God. We are singing 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 in the light of God. We are singing. Ooh, we are singing in the light of God. We are singing. Ooh, we are singing in the light of God. Dancing. We are dancing in the light of God. 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 We are dancing. Ooh, we are dancing in the light of God. We are dancing. Ooh, we are dancing in the light of God. We are walking 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 in the light of God. We are walking. Ooh, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking. Ooh, we are walking in the light of God.
My beloved, please bring your voices combined with mine as we extinguish our chalice. The words are in our hearts as well as our program. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go forth, my beloved community, go forth into this world. Take care of yourselves. but keep your eyes on that vision of that beautiful land of collective liberation for all. We are doing this for one another and for the next 7, 8, 100 generations. That is the vision we carry. Go forth and return again with both the love and the joy that you feel right now. Return again with love. Blessed be.
When every heart joins every heart and together yearns for liberty, that's when we'll be free. When every hand joins every hand and together molds our destiny, that's when we'll be free.
Any hour,
Any day, the time soon shall be when all live in dignity. That's when we'll be free. When every voice
joins in God's choir and together sings in harmony. That's when we'll be free. Any hour,
any day,
the time soon shall